In my last video, we talked about whether starting a YouTube channel is right for your physical product business. We covered the many benefits of using video to showcase your product and build an authentic connection with your audience and ultimately drive more sales without being too salesy. But I know what some are thinking, I barely have time to eat some days, so how am I supposed to add a YouTube creator to my already packed schedule? Well, that's exactly what we're going to discuss today. I'm going to share some tips on how to start and maintain a YouTube channel that sells your product without sacrificing your schedule or your sanity. So let's jump right into some time-saving strategies for content creation. The number one question most people will probably have, because I did, is where do I find the time? And the truth is that we don't find time, we just make it. Right? That doesn't mean adding more hours to our day. So first, let's reframe how we think about content. Your YouTube video, it doesn't need to be a separate entity from what you're already doing. They can be an extension of it. I gave you the example of the creator who she videotapes herself doing something she's going to be doing anyway when she's creating product and when she's packing and shipping orders. So are you packing orders? Set up your phone and talk through your product's features while you work. Are you creating a new product? You can document that process. People love behind the scenes content, and it builds incredible trust with potential customers. That's something that I plan on doing. I haven't done it yet. Another thing is, do you answer the same questions repeatedly? You can turn each answer into a quick video. The key is integration, not addition. So look for moments in your existing routine that you're doing already where you can layer in content creation. Another massive time saver is using what I call content multiplier method. So for every video you create, plan to extract at least 5 pieces of content. The YouTube video, you have the full video, then you have a shorter clip for Instagram Reels and TikTok, a few still images you can snap with quotes for Instagram posts, and audio for a podcast episode. If you do podcasts, I don't think most of us are doing podcasts, but you may, and written contents for blogs or emails. This way, your recording session, it feeds your content calendar across multiple platforms for weeks. And what's great about it is that YouTube has a feature when you do a video, you can get the transcript of your video and just turn it into a blog. I've received so many newsletters that connects to a blog on somebody's site, whether it be product or service based, and it's just the written form of their YouTube video. A lot of people like to engage that way and actually read instead of watching a video. So that's another way to save time. I have some great helpful resources that help with productivity and planning. I'll leave a link in the description. One is the Success Blueprint for a 12-month plan. It'll help you weekly, monthly, quarterly. It's an actual physical workbook that is great. The link will take you to Lulu Publishing because that's who publishes my workbook, so I just want to warn you ahead of time. And then on the Chill Solution website, there are a bunch of free digital downloads, so check those out. Now let's talk about equipment, the essential equipment that you need that will not break the bank. The good news is that you probably already have most of what you need. The absolute essentials are, number one, a smartphone with a decent camera. And if you bought your phone in the last 3 to 4 years, you're probably good. I would say the first 40 videos on my smartphone, and I believe it was an iPhone 10 or 11. Yeah, I mean, it was great. Number two, a natural light form from a window. If you have a window that faces the east in the morning or a window that faces west when the sun sets, you have perfect lighting. Actually, I kind of like it better than studio lights. There's something about natural lighting that is just very inviting when you watch a video. So that I think we all have access to. Number three, a simple phone tripod. You can get one for 15 to 20 bucks on Amazon, and that is it. You can start today with these 3 things. And as you grow, you might want to invest in something more advanced, like an external microphone that you clip on or a freestanding one. And honestly, I would say investing in audio would probably be the next most important thing, because if people can't hear you, they're going to tune out. And there's ways to tweak it in editing, but if you start with a good sound system, you're fine. But again, The natural built-in microphone in the iPhone works great. You may want to move on to a ring light so that way you're not limited to when the sun is up. I know in the winter, it gets dark early. A lot of times if we have to do these videos later or after work, we've lost light. So investing in a ring light or some studio lights, I think it'll cost you about $30 to $50. And then if you're going to be editing and you don't have, the funds to outsource, although I did say there was 3 videos that I did and I found somebody great on Fiverr. He was reasonable. But again, it dipped into my budget too much. I just wasn't quite there yet. And I like knowing as much as I can. I don't like showstoppers. So if I wanted a video edited by a certain amount of time, I had to wait for his schedule. But if I know how to edit, I have control into when it gets done. So apps like CapCut, there's DaVinci Resolve or InShot, they're really easy to learn. The learning curve is not that bad. And they run you about, on average, I would say $9 a month. There are subscriptions. DaVinci Resolve though is free. So you might want to check that out. I started my channel with my iPhone, some natural light most of the time. I had a little tiny ring light, and that was it. I think the important takeaway is to remember that your audience, they care far more about what you have to say, what the topic is that drew them to want to watch your video in the first place. You don't have to have studio quality production. That's not what they're looking for. And authenticity sells better than a perfect video every single time. Another time-saving strategy is batching content effectively. Batching is the secret weapon of almost every busy content creator. Instead of trying to film 1 video per week, set aside 1 day per month to film maybe 4 to 5 videos at once, back to back. This approach saves you an enormous amount of time because number 1, you only have to set up your recording space once. Number 2, you only have to do your hair and makeup once. If you're like me, I don't like doing that. Number 3, you can get into a creative flow state instead of constantly switching context. 4, you're front loading the work, which reduces decision fatigue throughout the month. So here's my batching process. First, I choose a power day. Typically, it's a Sunday. I'm trying to change that. When my energy is high, I have less interruptions, and I can just focus on what I want to do. And I prepare everything 2 days before, like maybe Friday. I outline my content. I prepare any props that I have, which I don't, but if I was going to show something, I would have that available and ready. And on that day, I start with the most mentally draining video, or the one that I feel like is more wordy or has more, content in it. And I film my content usually in the same outfit. Sometimes I'll change shirts and earrings or lipstick. I used to do that. I don't know that I'm doing that anymore. And I just film another batch. Keep a continuity journal on what you wore. If you're the kind of person that wants to change your wardrobe every time, or you want to tweak your hair or change your background or lipstick, I don't think that that's necessary, but some people do. So that's another strategy that you can have, is just plan it ahead. This way, if you need to refilm something or you need to add to a video later, you can match the original look. I've had times where I wanted to say something and I forgot, or I wanted to have a call to action to something and the video was done, it was in the can, and I was like, what was I wearing? What was I doing? I can go back and look at the video, but oftentimes I still wasn't quite sure if I was doing a lot of changes. So that's another tip that I have. I typically try to film 2 to 3 videos. It'll probably take about 2 to 3 hours, depending on how fast you are, how many takes you need, and how many times you need to start and stop. And it gives me about a month's worth of content if I want to post 2 to 4 videos a month. Now, I have a simple editing workflow for beginners, and editing is where many beginners get stuck and waste hours of precious time. So let's simplify this process. First, embrace imperfection. A slightly imperfect video that's published is, I think it's more valuable than a perfect video that you never see, somebody, well, it just depends on your comfort zone. There are some polished videos out there, and I call those the expert or the professional YouTubers, but I'm kind of shying away from being a perfectionist. Most of my early videos, I would not dare stumble over words and keep going and keep it in the video. But I would be stuck in editing purgatory if I just wanted to make everything perfect, at least as a beginner. So I recommend like a 15-60-15 method. So spend 15 minutes planning your video structure, record for no more than an hour, including multiple takes if you need, because the video, when you edit it down, will probably be 12-15 minutes. Then limit your editing to 15 minutes max for editing. Just start with a free or lower cost friendly app. Again, like CapCut, InShot is free with the basic features. iMovie is great, it's already on your iPhone. Now, what you're gonna wanna do to make the editing easier, number one, you wanna trim the beginning and the end right off the bat. Then cut out any major mistakes or long pauses. You can keep a little mistake. I have some in this video because I just immediately picked up where I left off. But any major ones or major flubs, just edit those out. Number three, add your intro and outro if you're gonna do one. And then number four, add simple text overlays just for the key points though. You don't need to have captions for everything. You just wanna maybe do a few to land some important things about your product, and that's it. No fancy transitions are needed, no complex effects, just a clean and simple, effective video. And as you become more comfortable, you can add more sophisticated elements. You know, you can add the fancy transitions or the sound effects, but just start with the basics. And remember, your editing should be seamless if you're gonna do it. I have some horrible editing, and who knows how this one will turn out if you could see either a bad transition or it was cut too hard or just whatever it is. But for those who truly hate editing or find it takes too much time, then consider hiring a basic editor from Fiverr. You know, you may be able to carve out the budget, especially if you're not doing one video a week. If you're doing one or two, it may be affordable. So for most busy product-based business owners, here's what I recommend starting with. If you can, ideally, one video per week and batch it and do the whole month in one day. If not, the next would be do one video every 2 weeks if you're creating content weekly. And then last, if all you can do is one video per month, that's fine. Just get started and test the waters. Make your filming days on your calendar as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. And to make your calendar sustainable, first, create content pillars, 3 to 5 core topics you'll cover repeatedly from different angles. Second, keep a running list of video ideas in your phone and add to it whenever inspiration strikes. I have a list of videos that I want to do that would carry me, honestly, for the rest of the year if I were to do them all. Third, you want to use a content calendar to plan at least 1 month ahead of time, like everything you're going to do for that month. And 4, you can build in buffer videos, extra content that you can release if life gets chaotic and you can't stick to your batching schedule. That would be great if you have a week where you're just hot and you can crank out an extra video, but don't post it. Just keep it as a backup. If you have a month where you're busy or you're traveling, you can already have that in your back pocket and post it, and you can kind of stay consistent that way. I use a simple Google Calendar to track my content schedule. I use Docs, and I love Google Sheets. I just set out a spreadsheet and have that, and I check them off and highlight the ones that I've done. And in terms of pacing, I recommend starting a little bit slower than you think you should, then gradually increase the frequency. I made a mistake of burning out, and I had this lofty idea I was going to do 2 videos a week or 1 video a week, a minimum of 4 to 6 videos a month, and it just wasn't sustainable for me. Now, one more time-saving tip before we wrap up. Templates are your best friend. Create templates for your video outlines, your video description. So speaking of editing perfection, my DSLR camera, it stopped and it didn't have any space. And I was right in the middle of wrapping up this video. So I don't know how this is gonna merge or cut into this, but we're gonna go for it. What I wanted to say last of all, to help you save time, is to create templates. Like, do a standard template that you can use in multiple videos, like have the basis for a description, everything you want to put, all your links and everything. There's defaults where you can just have it, so that way every time you upload a video, you don't have to do the work of redoing that. There's a ton of resources on YouTube and on Google that'll help you start a channel if you want to. I say just jump right in, don't let fear stop you, and just take it one day at a time and stay in the moment with it. And I promise you it'll be worth it if you stick with it. I want to know your thoughts. Please let me know in the comments if you like these type of videos. Again, subscribe if you haven't, and set the alert on so you'll be able to see the rest of the series. This is video number 2. There's 4 more to come, and I'll see you next time. Bye.